I ran into this interesting quote recently, and I thought it was fascinating. It said that heroes and villains always have the same backstory: pain. It's just what they do with it that's different. My name is Seth. I'm a full-time fantasy author. I've written 25 books, and I make these videos because there are a lot of authors out there who aren't making it, and I don't want you to be one of them. Today, I want to talk a little bit about motivation. When I ran into that quote that heroes and villains have the same backstory, I thought that was fascinating. One of the things that differentiates really good books from mediocre and bad books is the motivation of the characters. When we feel like a motivation is clear and is believable, we tend to really resonate with that character, even if we don't necessarily agree with the decisions that they make. This is why you can have bad guys who make bad decisions, or heroes who make bad decisions, and we, as readers, can still sympathize with them. What I want to do today is give you a very simple framework that I use for determining character motivation. It consists of asking 3 questions. What does this character need to do in the story? Why do they need to do it? What do they intend to prove by doing it? Now, we'll answer this question a little bit differently if we're talking about a main character or a very important side character, or if we're talking about random zombie 23 who's stumbling through the scene after our protagonist. But in every single case, we can ask the same questions. Well, let's start with our zombie. What does our zombie need to do? Well, she needs to eat the brain of the protagonist. Why does our zombie need to eat the brain of the protagonist? Well, on the one hand, you might say that she needs the brain for sustenance, but from the author's point of view, she needs to eat the brain of the protagonist so that the heroine can step in and save the day. See, as an author, I'm not necessarily thinking about character motivations in exactly the same way that a reader is. This character's role in the story is to act as a foil so that the heroine can save the hero from danger. Now, about that third question, what does this zombie need to prove in order to make all of this believable? Well, she needs to prove that she's dangerous. She needs to prove that she is actually a threat. Otherwise, what's the point in having someone saved? But what about when we're dealing with a main character? What about when we're dealing with somebody who's really vital to the story? Let's say we have a female MC who has been abandoned at birth. What is her driving need in the story? Let's say that she stumbled upon information about an imminent attack on her space colony, and she needs to alert everybody in this space colony that there's going to be an attack. Why does she need to do it? Well, on the surface level, she needs to do that in order to help them survive. They're about to be attacked. She needs to tell people, otherwise they would die. But then we come to our third question. What does she need to prove, either to herself or to our reader, to make all of this believable? This is where we start to delve into the complex underlying reasons that people do things. Maybe she needs to do this so that she can prove that she belongs somewhere. Maybe she has a feeling of betrayal or abandonment, and she needs to prove that she is not like the people who abandoned her. Often we only deal with those first 2 questions as authors. What does this person need to do, and why do they need to do it? And it's important to ask those questions so that we have clarity in how we are telling our story. But the real magic of character motivation comes in with that third question of what is this character trying to prove or disprove through their actions. The next time that you are sitting down to write a scene, I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions about every single character you run into. If you do this enough, eventually it'll just sort of come automatically, and you'll find yourself understanding your character's motivations on a deeper, more human level. That, in return, is going to be reflected onto the page, and your readers will find themselves connecting to the characters that you write.